Before we get started with today's video, I'd like to lay down a little disclaimer because I think it's important. The movie I will be talking about today is Power Rangers. I'm giving a full review on it. I just came back from the theater watching it about an hour ago, and I had to kind of process all my thoughts about it. As of this moment, Power Rangers just came out last Friday, so it's vaguely new, and it's still going to be in theaters for probably the next month or so. Usually when I do these kind of first impression videos, I usually wait 2 weeks after to see the movie, so this way I give everybody a chance to watch it, and then I'll watch it and then put out a video giving my thoughts. But I was able to see it earlier. It just came out last Friday, like I said. And I do know there is a good chunk of people that have not seen this movie yet, so I'm just laying it down now. There will be a good chunk of spoilers in this video. If you've seen the movie already, then by all means keep watching if you'd like to know what I think about it. If you haven't seen it, I'm just warning you again, there are going to be spoilers. If that doesn't bother you, then by all means keep watching. Hopefully I entertain you today. If you have not seen Power Rangers at all, and still want to see it and do not want to get spoiled by anybody, then I encourage you to not watch the video if that's the case. And then if anything, just come back and see what I thought about it. So this way you can either agree or disagree with my opinion on it. And that's pretty much it.
You have been warned, humans!
Hello, welcome to The Wild Review. I'm The Wild Reviewer, and today I'm going to review a thing. Let's talk about Power Rangers, the new Power Rangers movie that just came out last Friday. Power Rangers is a pretty big franchise, actually. It goes back to the 90s, maybe even the 80s. No, the 90s. It's the 90s. So let's just get down to the basis. I never really grew up with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I never grew up with the original Power Rangers. That's the first thing. So all this was relatively new to me. I'm just putting it down there. To be fair, I did grow up with Power Rangers, but different kind of Power Rangers. Like I said, I didn't grow up with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but instead my first Power Ranger show was Mystic Force. That was really my first Power Ranger show, and that's my Power Ranger team, only because it was my first one. If this kind of sounds familiar, it's because I've already kind of shared this story in another video I did. Power Rangers Mystic Force was supposed to be a separate review, but it was a rejected review, and I talk about it in the reject video that I did the one time that I was sick a few months ago. So if you'd like to check that out, the link will be in the description. Mystic Force was not the only one that I grew up with. That was the one that was my team. But after Mystic Force, I started watching some more Power Rangers. Like I saw Power Rangers SPD, I saw Power Rangers Jungle Fury, Operation, and that was pretty much it. Oh, and RPX? No, that's not it. RPD. That might have been it. RPD. I'm going to put the picture right here and you'll understand what I'm talking about. I also got to see the Power Rangers Turbo movie, which was very confusing for me because obviously I guess I had to watch the original Power Rangers at first to understand what was going on. But I saw the Power Rangers Turbo movie, so that was something. And now I saw this. I saw Power Rangers the movie, the new Power Rangers movie. I obviously knew it was also a movie remake of the original Power Rangers. Now, because I've never really seen full episodes of Mystic Force, I really don't know much about what went on in the original series, but I do know that the original colors were red, blue, pink, yellow, and black. I also know there was a Green Ranger that entered a while into the show. That was one of the really famous characters of the show, Tommy Oliver, and surprisingly he was also in the film, both the character and the actor that played him, but I will get to that in a minute. Let's actually talk about the film itself. So I enjoyed watching Power Rangers. I think this movie was good, even for people who didn't grow up with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, because it kind of like retells the story, but up to date in this generation. Being somebody that never grew up with the original show, like I said, it helped me get a better understanding of it. I already knew what Power Rangers were, though, but I would have liked to know the main story. Obviously, 5 teenagers. They're all in detention, and one night they all end up meeting up randomly. It's not like a group effort thing, which was the one thing that I was confused on, like how they were gonna do. The 5 teenagers, the Jason, Billy, Zach, Dee Dee, Kimberly. They meet up at a junkyard mountain place. It's not really confirmed what the place was, so we're gonna call it like a mountain junkyard, because actually it shouldn't. No, it's not a junkyard. It's a mountain range. Let's just say that. They all meet up randomly there. Jason and Billy originally just went there so Billy can work on something. Kimberly always goes there, and Zach usually hangs out around there. The rocks like fall, and the crystals for them to become Power Rangers are in them. The colored crystals. They use like rock tools to break the crystals out, and that's how they get a hold of the crystals. And the crystals kind of give off like a mutation of some sort, some radiation thing that gives them powers. It's not really said how they were given those powers. I mean, we know the crystals gave them the powers, but they get into a car crash. The cops end up coming because they broke into a restricted area. These mountain ranges are restricted. And they drive off. All 5 of them are in the car. And they get hit by a train. The car just gets smashed by a train. And they survive the crash. But I don't know how they were brought home. Because they wake up the next day. I don't know what happens. Like how the crystals manage to give them powers. It's not shown. It's never explained. But they discover they can run fast. They could jump really high. They have super strength. And they figure they'll go back to the mountain range and try to figure out what's going on. And they discover the little pond lake to where they swim really deep into it and find the lair where Zordon and Alpha 5 are. And that's when they find out they're Power Rangers. And while we're on the topic of Alpha 5, I just want to say how much of a funny character he was. Like, I know what the original Alpha 5 looked like in the original Power Rangers. So seeing the new upgraded Alpha 5, it kind of looked a bit odd because, you know, seeing pictures of the Power Rangers, this is always what I thought he would look like forever. So seeing this miniature version of him, I guess, kind of threw me off. But he was generally the funniest character, I think, in the movie. And, you know, there were times where he was serious. The comedy was, like, in the base middle of the story. But he just had me laughing. He's bringing reality to the story and stuff. So the teenagers are told about Rita. They're told about Rita. And they're like, no, we're not going to do this. But then Jason is told he's the leader, and you know, humanity depends on them saving the world from Rita, because she was once a ranger as well, and she turned evil, and now basically wants to destroy the town. She just needs her crystal, and that's how she'll destroy them. So Jason's like, listen, I'm going to be coming back here tomorrow at 4. You guys can come as well. We can work as a team. We can start training. So they all obviously come back. They start their training, and very funny montages and stuff. But then we get random clips, and then there's a little argument because they can't seem to morph. Zordon just gives up on them. Again, there's a little argument. They run into Rita for the very first time. Billy ends up dying for a good like 10 minutes of the movie, and then is just brought back to life by Zordon. They're able to morph. They save the day by beating Rita and her golden monsters. They become a Megazord. Jason's dad gets saved by Jason, and Rita gets slapped into the sky. and that's it. And then the five of them become friends. And what I said earlier, I said that the person that played Tommy, and I think also the original actress that played the Pink Ranger, Kimberly, they both made an appearance in the movie for a quick second. So that was basically the whole movie just summarized in a few words. So after watching it, my overall opinion of it is I liked it. There are a few things that I wish maybe were done a bit differently. The acting in it was absolutely fantastic, but you can tell just by the lines that each character had that this is a Power Ranger movie. The movie didn't end with a big laugh because like everyone, usually at the end of Power Ranger episodes, would be like, oh yeah, well, he should probably watch where he's going. And then everybody just laughs like they're a psychopath. Yeah, that doesn't happen. You could tell this is a Power Ranger thing because just the way that everyone was acting, the stuff everyone was saying, the lines that were given, you could hear it straight away. I really liked the effects in the movie, the way that Zordon was portrayed through the screen. But now I want to talk about the one thing in this movie that I'm starting to think about. When I was looking up to see how long the movie was on Wikipedia, I accidentally looked and saw that there was a mid-credit scene. So this is a big, massive spoiler. If you would not wish to hear this part, it's okay, just skip to the end of the video. But at the end, there was a mid-credit scene, and it basically revealed that there may be a sequel. It kind of ended on a cliffhanger, but a new student named Tommy Oliver was joining the class. And you didn't really get to see who Tommy Oliver was. All you saw was a chair with a green jacket, and that kind of shows that, alright, he's going to be in the next movie. So I'm kind of excited for that, only because I saw this, and I love cliffhangers, and I love to see like a continuation of a story in a movie series. I read online they're thinking about doing like 6 movies. They have a story arc being written up. So I'm excited for that, and I'd totally be in for seeing the second one. So I totally recommend this film. Power Rangers is a pretty good one. It's a B in my book. All right, it's not a B. It's an A. It's an A. It's an A. All right, there you go. A. A's for awesome. So that's what I think about Power Rangers. That's the overall thought about the movie and even what I've seen of Power Rangers in the past. Now I want to hear what you guys think. Have you gotten to see the new Power Rangers film, or have you seen anything Power Ranger related in the past? What is your favorite Power Ranger team? I've already stated my favorite was Mystic Force. Do you agree, disagree with anything I said in this video? Tell me in the comments, and also leave me your suggestions for whatever movie, TV show, random thing you want me to talk about next. Thanks for watching The Wild Review. I'm The Wild Reviewer, and you just saw me review a thing.